So I'm just going to clip on this vice grips and then get the knife in the fire now. Still not quite dark enough, but we're going to get it in there. Just get it started heating up. And since the hairdryer is not on, it's not going to get up to temperature yet. But once we kick the hairdryer on, when it gets a little bit darker, then it'll really start stoking it up, get the temperature way up. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour the oil in. I didn't do it before now because I was pretty sure that I would knock it over. You know how that goes. And you could reuse this oil. I usually just, it doesn't get super hot. Once the knife is done quenching, it's just going to be warm. So you can just pour it back in a jug, and I like to just use the same oil over and over again. All right, so now we're going to kick the hairdryer back on. We're going to wait till this gets up to temperature. Remember, like that salmon red, bright cherry to salmon red, just before it gets orange is what we're looking for. Okay guys, so we got the fire stoked up and we got the knife in there. It's starting to glow light red now. What you want to be doing is you want to be taking it out of the fire pretty often, real quick, to see what temperature it is. It's really hard to tell with all the different colors right now with this being stoked up with the hairdryer. So remember, right now it's just red. We're looking for that that bright red. Getting closer. Yeah, you can see the magnet is still sticking to the metal. It's not hot enough yet.
You might want to talk a little bit louder.
So the hot spot of this fire is right in the middle. You want to be careful not to put the tip right in the middle, because the tip will heat up to a lot hotter than the rest of the steel. And even if the tip doesn't melt off, you don't want this tip to be tempered at a different, or you don't want it to be heat treated at a different hardness to the rest of the blade. So the magnet's not holding anymore. Yeah, you want to keep moving it around, keep flipping it over, moving it around. You don't want any one spot to be too hot. So now it's up to temperature, up to 1500 degrees, but I want to keep it in there for about 5 minutes, or 3-4 minutes at that temperature. But I want to be careful not to let it heat up too much past that. So trying to keep it in a little bit above the flame here. Keep turning it over. These gloves are getting a little bit hot inside, so I've been switching hands a little bit. Okay. So now, when we take it out, you want to quench it pretty fast. You don't want to let it cool off in between, but not so fast that you're going to freaking hurt yourself or screw it up, okay? So just a nice smooth motion and quench. All right, so we got it in the quench. Once it's been in the quench for maybe 30 seconds or so, it's probably cooled down enough, and should be cool enough for you to touch with your finger. Obviously you want to make sure it's cooled off enough to where you don't burn yourself, but it's just warm right now. So now that it's out of the quench, we need to temper the blade. Right now, since it heated up really fast and cooled really fast, it's really brittle, and we have to bring the brittleness down. So we're going to add a little bit more elasticity to this steel so that it doesn't break. In fact, right now, if I dropped it from standing height, it would probably break. So the way that we do that is we bring it up to a lower temperature, in this case between 350 and 450 degrees, and the easiest way to do that is in an oven. So I'm going to take it and put this in the oven for a couple hours at about 400 degrees, and then at the end I can just shut the oven off. The easiest thing to do is probably just leave it in there until it's cooled off rather than take it out when it's hot. That's what I usually do, just turn the oven off and then come back in a while when the knife in the oven is cooled off. But that's tempering, and that's going to bring the hardness of the, kind of balance out the hardness of the steel with the elasticity or softness, and it's going to make it one sweet knife. It's going to be ready for an edge after that. We can put an edge on it, and tomorrow I'm going to show you how to do the paracord handle wrap and sharpen it up. So I'm just going to stack a few coals around the outside here just to get it going a little faster, because it's burning from the top instead of from burning from below. Kind of like when you light your charcoal grill at home. If you have a stack, it'll burn into the stack a little bit easier.